ladies' night on A Current Affair. And it's a current affair on ladies of the night, all different kinds, from soaring angels to fallen angels.
Crystal, hot, sensuous body.
You can find anything in the classifieds, but now cops in one town are taking a red pen to these blue notes, and there's a bizarre twist that's not so black and white.
Yes, maybe our ads are explicit in this one newspaper. The way in which we conduct our business is not.
The Classified Blues. From rags to riches, from call girls to cover girls.
Sexy clothes.
But in one town, cops are cracking down on sexy publishers.
Crystal, hot, sensuous body.
A red alert over blue ads.
Attractive, petite female, seeks, executive.
We'll take you to a place where it's still okay to do it, you just can't talk about it. The Classified Blues, next. And later, inside the Hollywood hotspots, where it really is who you know, not what you know.
Incredible.
There's a town up north where prostitution is actually legal, which is what makes the story so unusual. The police there give the green light to the girls of the red light district, but now they're telling them, do it, just don't talk about it. As our David Lee Miller explains, a new blitz on sexy classified ads is hitting some unlikely targets.
You can do it, but you can't advertise it. Here in Toronto, like all of Canada, prostitution is legal. It is, however, against the law to publicly communicate with someone for the purpose of selling sex. The idea is to keep prostitutes off the street. But now the Toronto Police Department's Morality Bureau is using the same law designed to lock up hookers against the publisher of a progressive local newspaper.
I couldn't believe it. I couldn't imagine how it could be done. I mean, it's just, you know, you expect a lot of things in publishing to come up, and you're even ready for some hassles with the police, but I never expected to be charged as a prostitute, as in being a newspaper editor.
Publisher Michael Holland and his weekly newspaper, called Now, have been criminally charged with, quote, communicating for the purpose of engaging in prostitution. The problem is that the Toronto Police Department's Morality Bureau considers it against the law to publish an advertisement from a prostitute, despite the fact it is not illegal to exchange money for sex.
Well, there are some ads that describe the physical attributes of some people and are making themselves available for sexual activities for money.
What do you say to people who read your paper and might be offended after reading an ad like this one? Dungeon of Dominance, downtown, fully equipped.
What I say to them is, don't read the last 2 pages in my newspaper. Read the other 86 in front of it, which give you a lot of other things to look at. A newspaper should have things that challenge its readers. Everything about a newspaper shouldn't appeal to everybody who reads it.
Toronto prostitutes say it's ironic that the very law written to keep women off the street will now have the exact opposite effect.
I want them to know that what they have done is counterproductive. What's going to result from all of this is more prostitutes are going to be on the street. So then the police will arrest us for being on the street, and then they'll hold up the arrest statistics to everybody and say, look at us, we're great guys, we've arrested all these evil prostitutes, when they put us out there on in the first place. It's, you know, who gains from this? No one.
Valerie and Ryan are professional call girls who get the majority of their clients from advertising in Now newspaper. They are angry the paper and its board of directors face criminal prosecution, especially because the Toronto Yellow Pages and more established newspapers in the city carry similar ads. The only difference, they say, is less honest language.
I've advertised in the Toronto Star and the Globe and Mail, 2 Toronto dailies. And the wording of my ads in those papers is not as explicit. For instance, I would say attractive, petite female seeks, well, you can't say generous anymore. You have to say senior, established, executive, or something like that. And the problem with those kind of ads is that people are confused And they call up thinking that you're looking for a long-term relationship, or maybe even to get married. I've had people call up and think, that's what I want.
Good afternoon, Now Magazine.
The Now News Weekly claims it is being singled out by the Morality Squad because of recent articles critical of police. And although classified ads from prostitutes amount to only 1% of the paper's income, publisher Michael Hollett says he will continue to print the ads, no matter what the consequences.
Would you go to jail?
Yes, I would go to jail if I had to over this issue.
You think you will?
I have to be prepared to think I will, because I might. These guys are cops. They're used to getting their own way. They're not, they don't like to back down, so I'm prepared for whatever happens.
As for Toronto's women of the night, life on the street remains the only alternative if newspaper advertising here remains classified illegal.
Why is it so bad for us to advertise in newspapers? I mean, what it allows us to do is operate discreetly. Yes, maybe our ads are explicit in this one newspaper, but the way in which we conduct our business is not. And the Canadian people, and I think American people too, would certainly prefer that way for prostitution to operate than be on the streets.
Now, we have more ladies of the night, but of a much different variety.
In Metro News, charges of communicating for the purpose of prostitution laid against Now Magazine have been dismissed.
The Crown Attorney's Office says after thoroughly studying the case, it decided there was no legal basis for the charges. The weekly magazine was charged in connection with classified advertisements in its personal business section. CFTO's Sean Murray reports.
Now Magazine's editors and their lawyer Clayton Ruby say they've been vindicated. Editor and publisher Michael Hallett maintains the content of the personal ads was a red herring. The police wanted to send Now and the rest of the media a message about coverage that is critical of the force.
The police wanted to give us a message in terms of police coverage, and they wanted to give some other journalists a message, I have to think, in terms of what happens when you write critical coverage of the police in this city. They don't like it, and they let you know they don't like it.
Valerie Scott of the Canadian Organization for Rights of Prostitutes says the personal ads are safer for prostitutes and keep them off the streets.
They're not bothering any neighborhoods. They're not bothering any neighbors. They're not bothering anyone.
Clayton Ruby says Now will be demanding answers from the Police Commission at its next meeting October the 4th.
Because the question of whether June Rowlands, in fact, is in control of this police force or ignoring it is crucial.
In addition to bringing up the case before the Police Commission, Now Magazine is considering filing a complaint with the Public Complaints Commissioner. And a civil suit has not been ruled out. Sean Murray, CFTO News.
I'm Beth Harrington. Prostitution-related charges against Now Magazine were dropped today. The weekly paper was seen to be publishing solicitous material, and its publishers were arrested a couple of weeks ago. Now, Stu Patterson has an update.
The charges were laid against Now earlier this month as a result of an investigation into the paper's personal ads. The paper and its directors were charged with communicating for the purposes of prostitution. But today the courts ruled all charges have been withdrawn because after a thorough review by the Attorney General's Department, there's no legal basis to proceed. Now officials welcome the announcement. They say the paper's reporting on the police seems to have been behind the charges.
When you write critical coverage of the police in this city, they don't like it, and they let you know they don't like it. But this round has gone for freedom of the press. So
it shows a lack of direction and control. Who is in control over there? Is anyone in control? Why do citizens have to be dragged through the courts in a totally unfounded way? Simply because no one is running the police department. Those policies have got to be examined, and the commission is directly responsible.
No one with the police morality squad or the chief's office was available to react to this latest development. The police commission will hear from Now at its meeting October 4th. Meanwhile, Now editors say they're considering legal action against the police.
We don't really know. We haven't made a decision yet. We have to consult with our lawyers. It's just shown us what an important area it is, how important it is to cover what's going on with the police.